Craig Counsell, new Cubs manager, starting to get his coaching staff put together. Looks like Tommy Hottovy's in. Andy Green is out, and some other changes. We're going to talk about them right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. We want you on our coaching staff. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's talk some Cubs baseball right now. What do you say, guys? I'm Mick Gillespie. Welcome to the Cubs Baseball channel. Let's talk about this new coaching staff because it's starting to come together. And despite reports that Andy Green was fired a couple of days ago, he was not actually fired. He has left, though, or who knows what really happened. But, I mean, I'm sure when David Ross left, normally your bench coach is the guy that kind of leaves with the head coach. They're kind of like a tandem, I would say, a lot of the times. So Andy Green, who interviewed for some big league jobs, a former major league manager, is off to join the Mets front office. And assistant hitting coach Johnny Walker is going to the Angels. He's going to become the hitting coach of the Angels. So how about that? And remember, Joe Madden went to the Angels, and then we saw some of the guys who were with the Cubs go to the Angels with him. Well, that's the case right now. So what we're hearing is that Tommy Hottovy and Dustin Kelly are going to stay on the staff with Craig Counsell. And I figured that was going to happen, right? They're under contract. Tommy Hottovy's been one of the best pitching coaches, young pitching coaches in baseball, right? You see those guys, the Cubs pitching's been good. You see that his kind of stock's been going up. And I think we all agree this is a pretty good job. And then Kelly, another guy who you look at and you go, yeah, I mean, you got him under contract. Why wouldn't you feel like, hey, he's already here? Let's kind of keep what we got going. I mean, we're going to pay, all that money for a manager and then pay other guys not to be on the staff. You're already without David Ross, who you fired, and I'm sure paying for this year. So that's the kind of the situation right now. As far as the rest of the staff, including John Mallee, our friend, we're wondering like what's going to happen. I think all of that's still up in the air. Counsell's got to have a hand in who's on his staff, right? And it always starts with bench coach. I mean, that's the guy that's helping you make all of the decisions during the game. I mean, you want that to be someone that you trust and that trusts you and that knows what's in your mind, and you kind of know where they're going and understand that there's some similarities as far as the way that the game works. So I'm not surprised at all. Not that Andy Green did a bad job or a good job, but if I was Craig Counsell, I would definitely want to have someone that I trusted in that spot. And his former bench coach is now the Brewers manager. Right. So he's kind of like, okay, well, I'm not going to get that guy back. So he'll find somebody else, I'm sure, that he trusts. And this is going to keep coming together. The other thing is watching the staff come together and then seeing what happens with Shohei Otani. And the Cubs are in the mix for Otani right now. You just continue to read that. They're going to make a great push for the two-time now AL MVP. And why not, right? I mean, if you're going to go and make someone the face of your franchise, why not make it Shohei Otani? And I know a lot of you guys have gotten in the comment section and you're like, well, wait a second. We don't want to basically buy one guy and then not have money for other players. Well, the Cubs are a big market team. And they should be able to go out and pay for Otani, who I think is going to bring in a lot of money back with the popularity of baseball in Japan and the fact that he is the most popular baseball player in a country that loves the game, right? So you could go out there, market him, sell his likeness and image and all of that stuff, make some money back in that. And then he's a winner. No, I know he's not a winner at the major league level yet, but he will be. His team won the World Baseball Classic. He was a huge part of that. And I think that if the Cubs are going to make a pitch, they would much rather deal with Otani's people than Scott Boras. And I think that's kind of where we are right now with Cody Bellinger. I think everybody would love to have Cody Bellinger back. But, if you're a front office person, are you going to want to deal with a guy who's out there, and I'm talking about his agent, who's trying to get every red cent, out of a player instead of just making a deal that is just good for everyone? Is it always about the money? Some people say yes. I don't necessarily feel that way. I think that it's about making a good deal. You want to make a deal that everyone's happy with. And it just feels like, with Boras, it's like, well, I got to get you to this point so that when another guy comes along, he's going to get to this point and he's going to get to this point, the next guy. And then is that really good for the game? And I think what made baseball so great is when you look at players who played for the same, like Ernie Banks, hey, the guy played his entire career as a Cub. He's a big part of the Cubs, and those guys who represented a franchise and made a good living. And at the same time, like, we're loyal to the city and the fans. I think we've kind of gotten away from that. And when I see that there's stories out that basically are saying that the Cubs, a much better chance of signing Otani than Bellinger, I think part of the reason is that the Cubs front office probably isn't jumping up and down and doing jumping jacks to deal with Scott Boras. And you saw him a couple weeks ago, and he comes in and he's making, rhymes and all of this stuff. And it's like, man, of all the people that have been involved in this game since I've been around it, he's got to be right up at the top of being the most detrimental to the game. And I know, he doesn't care. He works for the players, and his job is just to make sure that they make a lot of money. And in a way, I understand that. But in another way, I feel like you have to respect the game and the fans and the cities that these teams are in. And it doesn't always feel like that's the process. So we're keeping an eye on that. We'll keep you updated on what the staff looks like as things continue to fill out. And then don't forget, Nashville here in like another week. You got the GM meetings, baseball winter meetings. And so we're going to be covering that as well. And there's a chance that Otani may sign before that. So right now they're saying it's the Dodgers, it's the Cubs, maybe the Rangers are involved in this. But if the Cubs get Otani, I think that it would be an enormous signing for the Cubs, and I'd love to see that. I think a lot of you guys would as well. I mean, just the excitement and the energy, the electricity that he'd bring to Wrigley, and then obviously to team up with Seiya Suzuki, to have that Japanese baseball connection, could be a lot of fun. But if they don't get him, there's a lot of other targets out there. And there's a lot of pitchers out there that are available right now. We talked about that in a video last week. We'll be watching that as well, because it's going to take a lot of pitching. And teams are starting to make trades in Major League Baseball, including Atlanta, which they traded Kyle Wright and Mike Soroka. I mean, those are two pretty big-time pitchers for them over the last few years. So they must feel like those guys aren't going to help them. They can get something back for them. And then at the same time, they must feel comfortable with what they have and what they're bringing in. So we'll keep watching that. And then they gave the White Sox a lot of players for Aaron Bummer, which was kind of a surprise as well. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us here on the Cubs Baseball Channel. We will talk to you guys again tomorrow unless something breaks, and we'll jump on and cover that. Make sure that you're part of the channel. And don't forget that right now, this Cubs Baseball Channel is brought to you by the Cubs AA affiliate, Tennessee Smokies. You know, they won the Southern League Championship, their league title, for the first time in 45 years. Yeah, 45 years. Talking about the White Sox, they were a White Sox affiliate in 1978 when they won last. And they had Harold Baines on the team, young Harold Baines, like a 19-year-old, right? and Tony La Russa, who had never managed in the major leagues before. Well, they finally got back there, and they've got the swag to prove it. Some pretty cool stuff, including this hoodie right here. Go and check it out yourself. Great prices, too, in the minor league shop. So it's Smokies Baseball /store and find out for yourself. Thanks for hanging out with us.